Okay, thank you that we can have this interfaith gathering, and in the spirit of respect and love, we want to honour the traditional custodians of the land that we are meeting on. Where I'm on Warramai country, up near north of Newcastle. But all of us are living on the land of that have been countless generations cared for by Aboriginal people, and they received their holy commission from the Great Spirit, which they have taken very seriously and managed to pass on through all those generations, the sense of connection to country and the obligations and responsibilities to it, which is quite a remarkable achievement. So we respect their elders and all the people for being able to achieve that. Thank you.
Thank you. I will listen to the music.
Strive that your actions day by day may be beautiful prayers.
Strive that your actions day by day may be beautiful prayers. Turn towards God and seek always to do that which is right and noble. Enrich the poor, raise the fallen, comfort the sorrowful, bring healing to the sick, reassure the fearful, rescue the oppressed, bring hope to the hopeless, shelter the destitute. Strive that your actions day by day may be beautiful prayers. Turn towards God and seek always to do that which is right and noble. Enrich the poor, raise the fallen, comfort the sorrowful, bring healing to the sick, reassure the fearful, rescue the oppressed, bring hope to the hopeless, shelter the destitute. Strive that your actions day by day may be beautiful prayers. Turn towards God and seek always to do that which is right and noble. Enrich the poor, raise the fallen, comfort the sorrowful, bring healing to the sick, reassure the fearful, rescue the oppressed, bring hope to the hopeless, shelter the destitute. Strive that your actions day by day may be beautiful prayers. Turn towards God and seek always to do that which is right and noble. Enrich the poor, shelter the destitute.
May all beings look upon me with the eyes of a friend. May I look upon all beings with the eyes of a friend. May we regard one another with the eye of a friend. Hindu scripture, the Veda 36:18. One who makes no distinction of self and other with regard to one's person and possessions, who regards all beings with an eye, even eye, and is tranquil of mind, is indeed the best of the godly. Hindu scripture, Bhagavata Purana 11:52.
A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. Oil and perfume make the heart glad, and the sweetness of a friend comes from his earnest counsel. Behold how good and pleasant it is when brothers dwell in unity. Jewish scripture, Proverbs.
By relying upon me as a good friend, Ananda, beings subject to birth are freed from birth. Being subject to aging are freed from aging. Being subject to death are freed from death. Being subject to sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure, and despair are freed from sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure, and despair. By this method, it may be understood how the entire holy life is good friendship, good companionship, good comradeship. Buddha.
My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. Words of Jesus in John 15:12-13. Therefore, encourage one another and greet one another just as you are doing. Love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. Above all, keep loving one another earnestly, since love covers a multitude of sins. Show hospitality to one another without grumbling, as each has received a gift. Use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you fulfill the law of Christ. The Holy Bible, Thessalonians 5:11, Romans 12:10, Colossians 3:13, 1 Peter 4:8-10, and the Galatians 6:2.
And the believers, men and women, are protecting friends one of another. They enjoy the right and forbid the wrong. And they establish worship, and they pay the poor due, and they obey Allah and His messenger. As for these, Allah will have mercy on them. The Quran 9:71.
God desireth that your heart should become mirrors unto your brethren in the faith, so that ye find yourselves reflected in them, and they in you. The Bab.
Do not be content with showing friendship in words alone. Let your heart burn with loving kindness for all who may cross your path. Baha'u'llah. Let them see no one as their enemy or as wishing them ill, but think of all humankind as their friends, regarding the alien as an intimate, the stranger as a companion, staying free of prejudice, drawing no lines. In this day, the one favoured at the threshold of the Lord is he who handeth round the cup of faithfulness, who bestoweth even upon his enemies the jewel of bounty, and lendeth even to his fallen oppressor a helping hand. It is he who will, even to the fiercest of his foes, be a loving friend. These are the teachings of the Blessed Beauty. These are the counsels of the Most Great Name, Abdu'l-Baha.
I think you're wonderful when somebody says that to me. I feel wonderful, as wonderful can be. It makes me want to say the same thing to somebody new. And by the way, I've been meaning to say, I think you're wonderful too. When we practice this phrase in the most honest way, find something special in someone each day. We lift up the world one heart at a time. It all starts by saying this one simple line. I think you're wonderful. When somebody says that to me, I feel wonderful, as wonderful can be. It makes me want to say the same thing to somebody new. And by the way, I've been meaning to say, I think you're wonderful too. When each one of us feels important inside, loving and giving and glad we're alive. Oh, what a difference we'll make in each day. And all because someone decided to say, I think you're wonderful. When somebody says that to me, I feel wonderful, as wonderful can be. It makes me want to say the same thing to somebody new. And by the way, I've been meaning to say, I think you're wonderful too. And by the way, I've been meaning to say, I think you're wonderful too.
And now let's welcome Minoo.
There was one other which Ahmed suggested, but perhaps we'll play that a little further on towards the end.
Yep, thank you, Colin. Okay. And now we'll introduce Minoo, who has been attending our interfaith meetings, and it was a very short notice given to Minoo, and Minoo has come forward to do a topic on friendship. And friendship is very important for a lot of us during this COVID period. We would have felt how lonely we are, you know, when we can't go to work or go anywhere out and all this. And basically, you know, there's a saying, a friend in need is friend indeed. So to get a friendship, to have them on deed is a very difficult thing. And I'm sure Minoo's ways of talking on, and it will be more of a discussion as well as talking presentation by Minoo. And I hope Minoo is able to give more introduction about herself. Minoo?
Thank you, Maruna, and thanks for the opportunity to be here tonight. And I would just provide a facilitation for some discussion on friendship based on what Colin has shared, and also I've chosen very few slides, readings, and poem, and that hopefully is conducive to our discussion. I'll just introduce myself. My name is Minoo Hatami, and I'm originally from Iran. And with my husband, we left Iran in 1978, just a few months before the Islamic Revolution, because of being Baha'i and under persecution. So we left Iran and lived in England and then Mexico, and now is 35 years in Australia. And 34 years of that, we lived in Canberra and Queanbeyan, and it's just 1 year that we moved to Sydney. And my background, and I live with my husband Jamshid, and we've got 2 daughters, adult daughters, and 2 grandchildren. And my background, my professional background is in family counseling and mediation, and also life and relationship coaching. And with Jamshid, my husband, we have provided some workshops within Australia. And right now, I'm in semi-retired situation and enjoying more gardening and playing with kids. And I've got a few clients as well. So very glad to be here tonight with you. And I would like to share very few slides, a reading and a poem, and then ending by a song. And then for the discussion, I thought of a few questions, maybe that could lead us or open up some discussion. And you can, if you like, you can share your comments on that and about friendship. But thank you again for the opportunity. So right now I'll share the slides. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, yes.
We need a few volunteers. This is the first one. I think we've got just very few. Anyone who likes, maybe you can read. Tracy, would you have to be, okay, you could read the first one?
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
O ye lovers of God, be kind to all peoples, care for every person. Do all you can to purify the hearts and minds of men. Strive ye to gladden every soul. To every meadow be a shower of grace. To every tree the water of life. Be as sweet musk to the sense of humankind, and to the ailing be a fresh, restoring breeze. Be pleasing waters to all those who thirst, a careful guide to all who have lost their way. Be father and mother to the orphan. Be loving sons and daughters to the old. Be an abundant treasure to the poor. Think ye of love and good fellowship as the delights of heaven. Think ye of hostility and hatred as the torments of hell.
Thank you. I might read this one. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Rumi.
I have to read this.
Thank you.
The world is so empty if one thinks only of mountains, rivers, and cities. But to know someone who thinks and feels with us, and who though distant, is close to us in spirit. This makes the earth for us an inhabited garden. Well,
Thank you.
Jung, would you like to read this?
Yes. Okay, that's okay, thank you. A human being is a part of the whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feeling is something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of reason for us, restricting us to our personal desire and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. Albert Einstein.
Thank you. Colin, do you mind reading this one?
If you desire with all your heart friendship with every race on earth, your thought, spiritual and positive, will spread. It will become the desire of others, growing stronger and stronger until it reaches the minds of all men. Do not despair, work steadily. Sincerity and love will conquer hate. How many seemingly impossible events are coming to pass in these days? Set your faces steadily towards the light of the world. Show love to all. Love is the breath of the Holy Spirit in the heart of man. Take courage. God never forsakes his children who strive and work and pray. Let your hearts be filled with the strenuous desire that tranquility and harmony may encircle all this warring world. So will success crown your efforts, and with the universal brotherhood will come the kingdom of God in peace and goodwill. Abdul Baha.
This is the last one, this music.
Friendship with every race on earth. Your thought, spiritual and positive, will spread. It will spread. It will become the desire of others, growing stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, growing stronger and stronger and stronger until it reaches the minds of if you
Thank you, friends. So I wonder, if you would like to express anything from the writing, either that Colin has shared or I've shared, anything about friendship, or I could, bring up some questions that I thought maybe it could be conducive to us expressing, what we think. Overall, we all know that as human beings, we are wired for connection, and we cannot survive without connection, being connected with other people. In a way, maybe we are here to be with each other and in service to each other. And this way, all of us, we can grow, and the humanity can grow. So I shared the question. If anyone would like to raise anything, maybe Marina, you can manage that part, either with raising hands or whatever it means. And I just shared the questions as well, if you don't mind. This is. Oh no. Sorry. Just go back. Okay. Can you see it now?
Not yet.
Oh,
Not yet. Can you see it now?
yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now it's better.
So, yeah, that what are the hallmarks of true friendship? What are the powers which friendship unlocks? Or how do we ensure that we are truly befriending those with backgrounds and opinions different from us? And how can we seek truth together? And how can our friendship become source of benefit for our community? So maybe each person could here, share whatever of these questions or what we have read, anything that comes to your mind about friendship, whatever works for you.
So when you say hallmarks, you're asking what's really important of true friendship, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
And I feel in either it's in marriage or just siblings, friend, relationship and friendship, we have to be truthful to one another. It's, they normally say being three people being friends is a hard thing because, it's normally they find it hard to be three friends to be together. And, but the main reason people don't keep up the friendship is because they don't want to be truthful to one another. And being truthful to one another is really hard at times. But if we are truthful, then the friendship is much strong, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. So truthfulness, one of the hallmark could be truthfulness, yes.
Anyone has anything else about?
I think giving each other time, giving of ourselves to someone and giving our time. I mean, even with our Thursday meeting, we're actually trying to build up friendship by giving each other time, listening and building up trust as we share ourselves and understand the other people and, understand the different characters and, slowly that friendship builds up.
I consider a person a friend of mine when I think that person is trustworthy and he or she would not abuse or abuse me as another friend.
Yeah. Truthfulness, time, and trustworthiness, yes. Maybe we can reflect on our friendship and see what is important for us.
I think Jung wants to say something. Yes, Jung?
Yes, Marina.
Yes.
I wonder, to be true friend with somebody, we really have to respect that person, and vice versa, that person had to respect us. This is a mutual respect. Just like experience that my best friend become elected as a school captain, for example. And so I also got elected as school captain. So we have two captains in the school. So that's why the friendship can last, because I can't not see our friendship last if one of us a captain and the other one failed to be a captain. So that's all about core competencies and respect and command and authority, that each other, we see each other eyes by eyes. And that one thing. The second thing, what I learned is, I don't know if you agree with this, but they said we cannot change a friend. Just like the friend, for example, got something that you disagree with, and the friend had to look at you and then copy your good things and copy it, like you are the mirror and they copy it. But if you try to put your influence on them, they won't change. They don't want to change. They don't want to be under your, like influence. But I don't know whether it's true or not. It's more like a personal experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And I think, all our experiences are valid here. Whatever, we've been through and we think is right. Yeah, it's right. Why not?
I think sincerity is important too. Have to be sincere.
Yeah. Yeah, sincerity, yes. Yeah, maybe if we
For friendship to last, there must be a relationship between the two, and the cause of relationship between the two.
Could you say a bit more?
I mean, for example, at work, I've got some colleagues. The relationship between me and them is that we work together. And as a result, some bond is established, So friendship varies in shape and form.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, different form and shapes of friendship, different circumstances. Yes.
I think one of the most important aspects of genuine friendship is communication, because it's not just about talking with each other, but also to share your innermost feelings and listen to each other. It's almost like this godly relationship in which you can be vulnerable and honest about your shortcomings and temptations. And hopefully then your friend will keep, the friend will keep the confidences and also encourages in struggles. So friends are not just there to share your joy, but they are also there to share your pain and your struggles. I think that's the cornerstone of true friendship.
Yes, definitely. Yes. Friends, there is a poem or a song that is, friends are there for good time and bad times. And they are trustworthy in terms of, what you're sharing with them. They keep it in confidence and they don't say it to other people. So we can trust them and they can trust us as well. So what are the powers which friendship unlocks? Just imagining between two people. What powers unlocks?
If you are a real true friendship, you have the power to tell them if they are wrong. If they understand and respect you and genuine, then you can also tell them, oh, this is wrong. We should not do that. We should not do that. If you're not a true friendship, then you wouldn't be able to say that you're wrong, I feel. I mean, it's like for the children, we have the power and we sort of say it when they're wrong and right. So friendship is like that. We have the power to tell them that in a way, truly how others could feel about it.
Yes. Very good.
To answer to this question, it comes to my mind that that father and many sons, that he gives them single sticks and they say break it, and they all break it one at a time, and then he puts all the sticks together and says break it, and individually they can't break it, but when they force together they will break the bundle.
Yeah.
So there's power engulfed in the friendship, which we can unleash.
Yes.
Got Pina, you want to say something?
With
Pina?
friends, really, yes, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, alone, I am zero. But with a friend, we can become heroes. The cooperation and accompaniment and, lending each other's hands, it's really, there is this power that connects. And when we do what is right, and when you are spiritually, both of you are spiritually uplifted, you could serve humanity. This cooperation, accompaniment, and camaraderie is so important. We really need it. And they say the friend is a family that you have chosen. Because we cannot choose our sisters and brothers. You're born with them. But the friend is you have chosen. So we really choose a friend that will uplift our spirit. That we could help each other's, uplift each other's too. Thank you.
Yeah, very nice.
Jung, you want to say something?
Yes, I said it depends on personal experience. I just say in general thing that obviously I agree with Pina that two friends come together because they attract each other on a spiritual level. So the spiritual level is the first string that put them together and then give them strength and consolidation. That's what we call comrade. We work together, we fight together, we have same vision, we have same spirituality, and then we have cooperation. Obviously, we want to do something successful. But one thing that I see in friendship also is competition, because competition, because among two friends, there will be one to be a leader, one to lead the other. So, I mean, in some cases, maybe you have a friend who doesn't want to compete with you, but you also have friends who want to compete with you, want to be the best, want to be, on top of the world, like ambition. So that is another case. And there some people who come and want you to be their friend, like they just print books and everything and come to you when you sit at a library, and then they say, I want to be your friend. So in that case, obviously you don't attract to that person by spiritual level, but because maybe they just heard about what you done good or what they like about you and whatever, and they want to study with you, for example, like just like study in a group. They don't want to study alone. So in that case, that's more like you become a helper, like you become a mentor. You're not a friend, but you help them because of compassion. So it's so many things that can happen. It depends on an individual level. That's how I learned from experience, and vice versa, Thank you.
Thank you.
Malin, you want?
Yeah, I think you made a good interpretation of what Marina said. When we're telling people where they're going wrong, it's well, if we do it tactfully and because we care, then it's an act of caring. If we didn't care, then we'd just probably, all the people we see in society, we might think they're doing something wrong, but it's only the ones we care about that will let them know that that's probably not the best way. But I was thinking of the powers of friendship. I think we're developing spiritual powers, being able to see good in another person Because if you're a true friend, you won't just, I mean, we're all different, and probably originally when you're getting to know someone, you think they're crazy, they should be more like me. But then eventually you realize that our differences are what makes the world beautiful and much stronger. So we're developing a spiritual perception, and not only that, we practicing virtues, developing character. I might think I'm patient, but when you get married, you get a chance to test, and then you actually become patient.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think there's the spiritual powers which are unlocked in a friendship.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Spiritual powers. Yes. Spiritual qualities that we develop within that friendship. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone else want to say anything?
Shall we move on to the next one? The third one? And how do we ensure that we are truly befriending those with backgrounds and opinions different to our own?
Well, if I was to say something about that, I would say, if I have a different opinion, say we are in a group of 4 or 5 people, and somebody has a different opinion to mine, you sort of don't to have a better communication among the people. You just don't disagree straight away. You just say, it could be your opinion, but generally it's the other way we go, and sort of bring them into the friendship of our circle by being not really immediately say, oh no, you are wrong. That's not the way, that's how I feel.
Yeah. Yes. So you want to hear it a bit more and
listen and then say, that's right.
Yeah, and say maybe, I think a bit differently, but this is your opinion. And in a way, I respect your opinion, and we are all good. You're all good. Your opinion is quite, valid for you too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And then sort of explain what is generally, what's the view, or even our view, I accept your view too, but this is how I think it's general opinion, or this is my opinion, but put it in a nicer way. Don't straight away, no, you're wrong. We don't say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Would anyone else like to say something about this?
I
You
just
also
want,
need to put effort in. Go on, Young.
I just want to, I think we have to be careful. I think we have to be very careful about this sentence, truly befriending those with backgrounds and opinion. So truly befriending means what I'm understanding that we try to make friends with them, right? We come up forward and we say, shake hands and introduce yourself, and obviously, that's most of people will do. They just like a French people, they're going to shake your hands first and they introduce their name. And then background opinions, obviously, everybody has different background, everybody has different opinions, and it depends on the country and the culture and the language that they come from. So this sentence is more like on a diplomat level, diplomacy. If you work in a foreign, with the ambassadors or with the, like you say, Canberra Parliament House, then that's really, you need to have skills on this. It's not like a normal friendship, like thrown together by spiritual, you know, like telepathy. This is not. This is you try to make friends with people. They try to make friends with you by this. Try to be diplomat, and they might be not. And we have to be careful with their culture and background and language and customs.
Yeah, thanks, you. I think Pina.
Thank you. So if meeting people is something that we work within ourselves, we attract. So working on myself to be attractive to others is that I have to be true to myself. It is who I am that should, you know, attract others. And so if you want, for example, a very good friend who is in you're the same level, for example, you like something spiritual. So I will work within myself to attract the same. So whatever the qualities that I like somebody who, for example, who could talk about uplifting the soul, uplifting the spirit, or with music, and even dancing and all that. You know, it is who you are. We don't really see the opposite. We don't see anyone. It is who I am and who I meet. We don't select. It just happened that, oh, you love music. Both of you love music or poems or even dancing. You know, we don't really anticipate. It's just to work on oneself, to be the person you want to be, to make friend is, I'm going to work on my own, on myself first to attract others. Thank you.
Thanks, Pete. Tracy wanted something?
Well, sometimes, you know, we need to actually make the effort to meet people who have different backgrounds and opinions to us, you know, to really consciously get out of our comfort zone and, you know, meet people from other faiths or meet people who have a different foods that they as their staples. Like, you know, we have to actually make an effort to find people who have not got the sort of, it's just sort of the lottery of birth, really, isn't it? What culture and religion we were brought up in. You know, we have to actually consciously explore what other options. God's hidden his jewels all around the world. You know, we have to, you know, like maybe there's another completely different way to approach and be searching, looking out, you know, for that, and not just have our blinkers on and being willing to change, or, you know, to find something deeper that's indifferent than what we're used to, you know, what we were brought up with.
Yeah, great point. So in a way, not doing something that usually do, we go to same people and we are in our comfort zone. So we widen our circle a bit. And then what you said, Tracy, is very interesting. We purposefully seek for people who are maybe different from us, different different race and different nationality, different language, just different religion. And here is a microcosm of that differences, isn't it? You know, because each of us could belong to a different religion, different background, different ethnicity, and yet still we are together here. And we are exploring and learning and sharing. It's very quite interesting, isn't it? And I think Nisha once has got her hands up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not muted. Okay. I was going to share the exact viewpoints that Tracy mentioned. So I completely resonate with what she said. And I just wanted to share a quote that I just recently came across while I was listening to a podcast. And in that, in that podcast discussion, this guy obviously was talking about diversity and, learning how to connect with people who are different to you in all aspects, actually. And one of the things he said was, no heart was ever transformed by an idea. It was transformed by friendship coupled with an idea. So it is the friendship that is the ingredient. And I actually really liked that. I've not heard a some quote in that along that way, but I think that's the thing. I think when you foster friendship and you seek that friendship with people who are different to you or are varied, you automatically remove yourself from confirmation bias. Because if you only move with people who think like you and act like you and talk like you, you're actually losing out on the diversity of thought itself or idea itself, because you're so comfortable thinking that what you know is the absolute truth. And so you build that prejudice and you discriminate people who think otherwise. But I think when you seek different people and you hear their opinion and why they think the way they think or why they do things the way they do, you become more acceptable of diversity. So I champion diversity in friendship. That's all I wanted to say.
Great. Thanks, Nisha. Thank you. And Colin.
Just what Nisha said reminded me of something in the Baha'i writings. A kindly heart is the magnet, a kindly tongue is the magnet of the hearts of men. It clothes the words with meaning. So words alone or ideas or different opinions aren't going to change anybody, but the way we express it makes a big difference. And now, in one of the talks I gave in this group, I mentioned some close friendships I have. One was, which were tested because one of them was a great believer in Hitler. He thought he was wonderful. He created order and security and everything else. And another good friend is, sort of leads the anti-vaccination movement and organizes demonstrations. Now, if that could test the friendship, I could say, well, I'll be friends as long as I can persuade them to my point of view. But if I can't persuade them, and we can just talk about things that are more where we do have something in common, and then maybe just touch on the differences and explore them without affecting the friendship, then I think that's kind of a test of true friendship.
Yeah, great point. Thanks, Colin. Some friends are a bit quiet.
Ahmed, you want to say something?
I just want to say that you have to name them in order to give their opinions. The people that are quiet here.
Sorry, could you say it again?
You have to ask them by name in order to get them to say.
Sure. Yes.
Well, I wanted to say something about this befriending with people with different backgrounds. I think Abdullah says that you might not like everyone, but we can share love to each one. So even if we are different and we don't like their opinions and all that, but we still can love them and be friends with them in a friendly relationship.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Minoo?
Thank you,
just
Minoo.
have a-
Thank you very much. I just wonder, I don't know if you think the same sort of line. I just talk about COVID-19. When you saw the photo of all the hands held together, solidarity, is according to the communist term, solidarity and fraternity, brothers and sisters, for example. But then the COVID-19 asked people to have social distancing. And so people, look at each other or whatever. They cannot go and shake hands. They cannot cuddle. They cannot do all the things that they used to do. Even the French people, they can't take their clothes off and shake people's hands. When you shake hands, you're supposed to take the clothes off. They're not like put the clothes on and shake hands. It's not true. Because they might think you have weapons in the hand. That's how it goes. So, but the COVID-19 put our social distancing, people not talking, people not come together, people not face-to-face meeting. So all that one will hinder the friendship growth. And people that like being separated. I don't know if you think that one of the downfall of you want to be truly make friends with somebody, but you never truly understand them because they never have a chance. They never have a chance to tell you what's going on. Mm. And like this say, if the young people, they fell in love, they break up, the man worked out and said, okay, we're not together like Romeo and Juliet, but we're still friends. So how did it work? I mean, if you look into counseling and relationship, you see how Romeo and Juliet, they truly like each other. So they die together. But nowadays, men or women, they can just walk out and they said, sorry, we're not together, but we're still friends. How can we still friends? What sort of friend is it? I don't understand that.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept, isn't it? With the COVID and social distancing and not each other, not to be close and see eye to eye, things changes, doesn't it? And it's a different time, and from the time that we see each other, we give each other a hug and shake hands, and especially with people who are more sort of kinesthetic, they connect more through sense of touch or hug and closeness. This makes a big difference. And unfortunately, the situation is this way. But I think, at least being able to have this sort of forum and on Zoom and be able to talk and share is better than nothing, isn't it? But of course, it's not the same quality as it was before. Yeah. So, but I've, in my personal view, haven't seen some friends for a long time, or even, haven't talked maybe for years, but I can sense their energy and that the connection that we had before still somehow is going, and the love is there, and I can feel it within my heart, and I assume, it's from theirs as well. Somehow I think love attracts as well. When I send love to somebody or think well of them and wishing them well, all have maybe at the metaphysical level have some impact. So I take it on as my own responsibility. How can I be befriending people, other people? And how can I be of service to them? So together, each of us, we can take small steps to making the world a better place. So this is, yes, it's not an easy time, especially with the COVID. Robert or Ponsacci, if you like to share something, or Mr. Primal or Tausin. Or Mr. Niva.
Yes, I can share a letter. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I request I can speak a little English.
That's okay. Yeah.
This, yes, I'm from Myanmar. This my family is work in fishing farmer. Yes, I can do it the fishing and farmer. This my village in French. He can do it the fishing in my work. Yes, he can ask me because he is village and young people and young people is 15 years, 13 years, and 14 years is a married. Yeah, they cannot do it education and learning not education. He's so young and working in my family because he is a poor. Yes, I can understand. You can understand. They is a poor because I can ask you. The Paula is saying that you are learning and study cycle, a learning and sharing class, a learning and junior U. I can join it because this now I can do it the sharing class teacher. Yes, I can join your. I can go to the your village. I can go to the your village. Yeah, I can join this as your friend and family and children and this other Buddhist family. Yes, they can do it the Buddhist. Yeah, this now and conference. I can join the conference. Yeah, they can do it. The conference and joining this now a village and sharing class. The one sharing class and two junior youth. Study cycle and both 1 and both 3 and both 1, both 5. I can join yes. Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Tausin. Thank you for sharing that. Pina.
Pina, did you have your hand?
Sorry. To is a coordinator for the children's class in Myanmar. He's very active. Yes. So he joined us with the devotionals. It's quite late. That is based in Botswana, Africa. Yes. I'm thinking to Mengalaba.
Yes, Mengalaba.
Mengalaba. Okay. Anyway, I visited Myanmar in 2013. What I noticed that it's easy for me to be friends with different nationalities is that because I love languages. So the places I visited, at least I take some words or learn the removal of difficulties in their own language. So I was in Thailand, and then we were in Africa, in Malawi, where I also learned. Actually, the children taught me, because I call the children, I call like this, they come. And then I have the prayer book. So I want to learn which one, the prayer. I ask them to read, each one will read. And then from that, I try to memorize it myself. So they're the one who taught me. So I could do children's class, even though I didn't know the language. I mean, that's how I started. And so that's how we could have friendship. It's not that we cannot do anything at all if we do not have the language. You still can do something. So, and I have experienced that way. And it's so when sometimes I see, like I was in the hospital recently, and so the doctor was talking to me about pacemaker that they will implant in me. And so suddenly we were just talking about the Baha'i faith. And then when my husband came, when he was explaining about pacemaker, oh, we're talking about Baha'i. For that, I'm going to give you a discount, he was telling me. And he himself said that because we were talking about the faith and about God and about the teachings of God, he said, there is a power, he said. This power from God that magnets, that connects us. That's why we are talking about God now, right now. He said that. And then he said that no matter what, we will leave this earth. And our service to humanity is service to God. So I thought maybe he's Baha'i, the way he speaks. And then we were discussing some more. Then he said, can I be a Baha'i? So I told myself, oh, I think you already are. So this friendship, like before we parted, I recited the prayer, remover of difficulties in Tamil language. And also the Sega Suffice in Tamil language. And he was so surprised. He said, it's so beautiful. Can I record it? So language is also one way of attracting or making sure that you respect their culture, their language, like that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Pina. Thank you for your rich experiences, sharing your rich experiences. Thank you. So if no one else, then maybe we could go to the next question. That how can we seek truth together? What could help us? What medium can help us to seek truth together?
Be kind and understanding.
Sorry, could you say it again?
Be kind and understanding.
We try to understand it.
Yeah, and kind, you have to be kind. If you want
to be kind, in our words, we need to be kind and understand each other. Yes, thank you. And Mr. Bimal and then Minoo.
Bimal, you want to talk?
Sorry?
Yeah, we talk the language of love. When you talk with the language of love, everything will come together.
Yes.
We don't have prejudice. This is the language which attracts the hearts. We love people because we love God. So we are here, we are one human being. We come from the dust, every one of us. So this reason we talk the language of love, everything will be easily overcome.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Minoo and Marina. I think this question is very straightforward. We seek truth together through words and action. What sort of action? We have to provide to our friend the comfort of the physical and spiritual needs and soul and everything, healing the sick, enrich the poor, raise the fallen, comfort the sorrowful. and give them a holy life. I think that give them the holy life by prayer, or take them to the church, ask them to do confession, sit down, do confession, talk to God, talk to themselves, talk to the family, try to be helpful, try to provide services. Some of them say, oh, I come from a rich family, I don't need to do services. I come from an aristocrat, upper class, whatever, I don't need to do social service. Why do they have to do social service? I got tons of money, billion of dollars from my mom and dad. I don't have to do all this. So you had to take them to the hospital, see all the people that need help, healing the sick, ask them to do some work, wash the feet of the sick people, like the Pope, and raise the fallen. If they cannot study a language, you sit down and you help them after hours. You do overtime without pay. Yeah, you do overtime without pay for whatever that they need your help with studying. So you become a mentor and you don't need money, because if you really want them to see the truth in you, then you show them the truth and ask them to do some truth themselves. Mean words of love, mean nothing with no action. Thank you.
Thank you, Young. Thank you for sharing that. Ahmad?
Yeah, I think we have to seek our common grounds in order to bond, to get a bonding relationship with each other. Then we can find truth of things together. That common ground is so important.
Yeah, thanks, Ahmad. Anyone else?
Robert, do you want to say something? Robert or anyone?
Nisha?
Yes, I was going to talk about the or share the one of the fundamental teachings of the Baha'i faith, which is the independent investigation of truth. So on the surface of any idea, we should actually investigate the truth ourselves instead of blindly adopting something that has been told to us or given to us. And as children, we tend to spontaneously accept beliefs or customaries, cultures, because our parents told us that this is how we should do. And then your extended family tells you this is what you do. And then the community that you mingle with tells you this is how you do. So you kind of adopt these beliefs from a very young age. Until you come to a particular age where there is an age where you reach maturity, where you're able to reflect on the truth. Because when we kind of hang on to these attitudes and behaviors, it becomes even more embedded in our truth and our feelings and later on in the social systems. So we then forfeit our true spirituality and faith for counterfeit superstitions. So I think one of the way to iron out, these dogmatic practices or cultural beliefs that has just been handed down for decades and centuries is to actually investigate this truth. And one of the ways that you can do is, if you have a group of friends who are all seeking for a particular truth, you sit down together and you discuss about these either similarities or differences, because you can then learn from each other. Like what we do in this very platform. We come as an interfaith group. we've all have experiences from various backgrounds, but yet we can come together as a collective group of people to discuss ideas based on our experiences, knowledge, and etc. So yeah, so that's just one of the ways I think that you can reach truth, is to independently investigate.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Nisha. Thank you.
Karima?
Mr. Yes.
Yeah, how to seek truth. We have to listen to people. We cannot impose our thinking, our thought. We must encourage them, encourage their conversation, encourage them to tell what they are up to, what they like. We cannot impose things on to people. Then only we can seek truth together. Then it must be not be an argumentative. It must be in a consultative mood.
Yes.
So this is how we can seek truth together.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Colin, anything on this?
Yeah, I just liked what I heard from Perimal. Yeah, listening, but also being prepared to change ourselves, not being prejudiced, not being attached to an idea just because I thought of it or because I already believe it. But we always we can always learn from other people, and we should. And I mean, it was interesting. Nisha talked about truth as something we do. I immediately thought truth is a belief, but it's also what we do, and it's how we behave as a community. So the truth about how we're going to get along as a world, not even the whole world, as a country or our community. We definitely have to seek that together, because otherwise our communities are going to fall apart.
Yeah, thank you. So maybe if nothing else, can we go to the Tracy? Sorry, Tracy, you go. Sorry.
It's okay. I just had this sort of idea pop into my head that maybe our religious practices are like recipes, that we've got the sort of basic ingredients, like we have, it may be with meat and potatoes and vegetables and, but we, different faiths or different ways of approaching that food is like the recipes. But if like we had the equivalent of a cook-up and we had curiosity, oh, you use those ingredients like that. I never thought of doing that. It would make, sort of like just enrich our spiritual lives, or just our, our sort of thinking and our feeling about the sort of, everyone has to have a daily life. We all drink water. We might call it different things. We might add tea in it or coffee or something else or nothing, but we all need to drink water. There's certain fundamental things that we all have to do just to maintain our life. But if we came with curiosity, how do you approach this? Or how do you approach this problem? Because the main thing is not who's got the idea, but which idea will work the best in any situation, or utilizing the ingredients to spread them out the most or whatever. But anyway, it was just when somebody was talking, I just thought, well, it's like we could have a cook-up.
Yes. A sense of curiosity. Brings
curiosity.
Some joy and playfulness and wanting to learn, being open to learn more and see what the other person thinks or what are the other ingredients or the way that the food is cooked. Yeah, very interesting. Young?
Hello. Can I just please add on something? I like the idea that Tracy just suggested. I think this sound like really wonderful ideas. How can we seek the truth together? This is like you can say this is long, like few centuries questions. 12th century, 13th century, 16th century. Every century they're looking for truth. Didn't we already know a lot of nuns and priests went to the convent or abbey just to look for truth? They want to see the truth, how to see God, how to see friendship, because God gave 10 commandments. And one of them is love your neighbor. So love your neighbor. So if people really look really good into it, they still looking for truth nowadays. And it's gonna be like another 100 years or 1,000 years to go through. And it's not something new, it's already there. Since how many times people die and reincarnate again, how many lives have they got? I mean, they can spend all their life looking for enlightenment. They can spend all life looking for truth. They never find any, or find some of them only, because what we find from religious study will be different from what the government wants us to do. The government will say, we don't need your services. Okay, and some people in a social class will say, I don't want to do social services. So it's up to the people what they want to do. But this question is a million years question that people to go through to look for truth, and they will never find one that satisfies them, because once they find something satisfy them, there will be another one pop up.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Question for thoughts. Yes. Nisha and then Perima.
Yeah, sorry, am I on mute or? Oh, okay, no, I'm not on mute. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, firstly, I have to say that Tracy, that was an excellent analogy. I absolutely loved it. It's like if you had a plate full of potato, it would be boring, but if you kind of threw in a bit of bacon and carrot, it would completely change the character of the dish. And that's exactly what friendship is. You need that variety. Even when like in times when I'm like, I just need a quick fix of food, like you open your fridge and there's like leftovers in the fridge and you're like, I can't throw this out. If I just kind of like put them all together in a pan and cook together, you can make something out of it. So even if you have people who are aloof, you brought them to your group and added a bit of flavor to them, they will come good, you know, because everybody has a potential to shine. They just need to be shown the right way at the right time. The second thing is Jung actually kind of triggered this little anecdote that I would like to share, if you guys don't mind. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I remember this anecdote by Socrates, a Greek philosopher, because Jung was talking about 13th century, blah, 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 and it just triggered this this test called the triple filter test, that it's to test truth, basically. So anyway, in this little story, so the story tells of one of Socrates' disciples who was very agitated. And he told Socrates that he had met one of Socrates' friends and that he had spoken very badly of him or illy of him. And Socrates asked the man to calm down, and he asked him to wait for a minute. And he said, before listening to what he had to say, the message had to go through the triple filter test. So if the message did not pass the test, it wasn't worthy of being heard.
Yes.
So he said, are you absolutely sure that what you're going to tell me is true? The disciple thought for a moment. In fact, he couldn't be sure if what his friend has told him was actually malicious. So it was a matter of perspective. So you don't know if everything he said about me is true or not, said the philosopher, i.e. Socrates. So disciple admitted that he didn't. Then Socrates asked him a second question. He said, is what you're going to tell me good or not? The disciple replied that actually it wasn't good at all. So in fact, so he believed that what he was going to share with the philosopher would cause him discomfort and distress. So then Socrates told him, you're going to tell me something bad, but you're not completely sure if it is true. So disciple admitted, yes, this is the case. Then Socrates asked him the final question. He said, is what you have to say about my friend going to help me? Then the disciple thought about it for a bit, and he said he didn't really know if this information was useful or not. So then maybe he said it would be better you distance from your friend. But considering that he wasn't sure whether it was true or not, maybe it wasn't useful at all. So in the end, the philosopher refused to listen to what the disciple wanted to tell him, because he said, if what you're going to tell me isn't true, isn't good, and isn't even useful, why would I want to hear it? So truth, goodness, and usefulness are the foundations of Socrates' triple filter test. So maybe next time if somebody comes to you with a subject and opinion, you could pass this triple filter test through that question. Sorry, I just wanted to share this anecdote. It probably doesn't work all the time.
Thank you, Nisha. The triple filters of absolutely true, is being good or not, and if it is useful or not.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Colin, and then I think, Parimal as well.
Yeah, I was just thinking, do I really need friends? I'm an introvert, and I'd much rather spend time alone, maybe in prayer or meditation. But then I thought about it a bit more, and really, we encounter God in our heart, which is kind of when we're on our own, and we can encounter God in other people. And I suppose, I don't know, maybe there's a distinction there between introverts and extroverts, but both really need friendship, whether it's internal or with other people. But significantly, we need other people because that's the only way we can practice and serve.
Yeah. Thanks, Colin. Thank you. And I don't see now Parimal. Can you see him? Because he had his hands raised. Oh, yes, he is here. Yes, please go ahead.
So how to become benefit for our own community? First of all, we must get engaged with people in our neighborhood. People are within our reach. We can't be going and seeing people who are 10 or 20 kilometers away. Our neighborhood, our immediate friends. We have to get engaged, and then get engage into conversation. Okay, one example I would like to say, during the pandemic, COVID-19, year 2020, everyone was very isolated, and we were all living on their own. So we met with one or two friends in our neighborhood, our immediate neighbors, and this person happened to be a mindfulness training person. He gave a training about mindfulness. So we host this program through Zoom because we cannot meet in face to face. So we get some people in the community, and we did this session once a week, every Saturday, and a few neighbors came in and joined this program, and we get engaged with them. So along this way, after when there was some relaxation, we invited them to our home for a afternoon tea. There were about 20 of our neighbors came to our place, and we had afternoon tea and we had a lot of conversation. To our surprise, there were people who attended this gathering. They're just living across the street, but they have never met or spoke to each other for the last 15 years.
Wow.
They're just living across the street.
Yes. Yes.
They see them going out, in and out of the house, but they have never talked before. So they were very surprised. Likewise, now we start to have once in 3 months gathering in our home or their home. And we have now 65 people in our neighborhood who comes to this function.
Wow. Wow.
So the one important thing is that we must care for the neighbors. We cannot live in a 3-story high-rise building where our neighbor is living in a squatter. It's very unfair.
Yeah.
So how to, just now Yong was telling how to uplift the downtrodden. We must help them. What is the need? So likewise, then we can make this community a better community, our neighbors.
Yeah.
So this is one of the ways. We must get engaged with them, start a conversation in a very fruitful way, see what is each and everyone's need. This is very important. If we have a very luxurious car, BMW or Mercedes, and we go about, we come in the house, go out and do things, but our neighbor is just living in mere poverty. That doesn't make sense.
No.
There's a couple here, husband and wife. The husband is 85 years old, but a lot of health issue. When the COVID started, they don't know what to do. This old couple. So the neighbors, immediate neighbors, get together, help them, buy the groceries for them, and they care for them. This was the concern. This is how we are building communities. Thank you.
Thank you. What a great initiative. Invite your neighbors, and also the mindfulness workshop and relaxation workshop during COVID, which has been so intense, the lockdown and isolation. Such a great initiative. Thanks for sharing that. So, yes,
I think
please.
Nisha wants to say that.
Yes, please.
Yes, Nisha.
Oh, sorry, I forgot
Nisha.
to put my hand down. Sorry, I forgot to put
That's
my
okay.
hand down at the last. Yeah,
That's-
sorry.
Pina or
Thank you. Thanks to Mr. Perumal, he reminded me of the neighborhood because we visit our daughter in Canada, in Montreal. We visited, I think I've been there 3 times, 6 months to help up with the delivery of my grandchild. And I noticed my daughter is so friendly with the neighborhood. The opposite with Sri Lankan background, the next door is, they are Jewish, but they are Christians. And further up, there are Jews. And the next door, I believe they are Christians. And then she opened up her garden. There's where people the children can play. And so children just coming in and out like that. And then there was a time that she was babysitting. Not baby, because these are already like 7, 8 years old children from the neighborhood, and feeding them because they are Hindus, so they have the certain day not to eat meat. So she will cook accordingly. And she has been doing that in these neighbors. And now they have agreed to have like a WhatsApp together in the neighbors to alert if there is anything, like somebody park a car somewhere and then they don't know whose car, like that. And then there was this certain time that they had the kind of a neighborhood, like a festival. And so they prepare food, whatever the specialties, and put just at the roadside, and they block that certain, place for the vehicles not to pass. And they will be visiting each other, they will be singing, they will be introducing their foods. And it's so beautiful. And now, recently, when I was talking to my daughter, she was babysitting Adriano. This is a Spanish background who lives a little bit further out. And because they are planning to leave and come to Malaysia, like they are so sad that since she has been so used to with all these babies, looking after whoever is not, the parents not available to pick up the children from the school, they are with each other. And it's just so beautiful. It is just, I'm just reminded of what Mr. Parimal was saying. Really, this is the releasing the social power of the faith, the social building power of the faith. I believe this is something like this. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing such a beautiful experience that your daughter is having. Thanks for sharing it. Young, I think it's your turn.
Thank you, Minoo. How can our friendship become sources of benefit for our community? Well, we've been learning from Lisa that we need filter. When we make friends with people, that's one of the first things come about. Filter means that we don't make friends with anyone that we meet on the street. And I don't believe that Socrates asked this student or this scholar all these questions, because Socrates is a French people call him. He doesn't have time, he did not have time as a scholar to ask into detail all these questions, because Socrates will not waste his time on all these questions. So that's one thing. We can read the history, but we have to analyze whether that's true, good, and helpful for us. We have to apply analytical skill. Analyze is one of the skills that you need to have when you read paragraph of Socrates and the scholars of all that previous centuries. So another point is, when we do services, it's the Baha'i people and the Catholic people, Protestant people believe in services to give human salvation. Do we have to be introvert? Or do we have extroverts? Or do we have to be both of types in our personality? Because I believe some priests and some ministers, they're very religious, but they still get married and they still produce children. And the children come out as angels or not angel, but it's not a matter. It's a test that they have to go through. So that will help them to see God faster. So that is a good thing for people who want to get married anyway. That's how I believe it. That's how I believe it. Because we do need a lot of angels come to us through human flesh. We can just, not like miracle, just like magic wand, and you just do magic wand like Cinderella and you have 10 angels around, flying around. It's not like that. Because Jesus come down as a human flesh from a human mother, that she's a human. She's not like already a God or a manifestation, but she was like, according to the Bible anyway, we studied Bible. So You can say agree with me or not, because when you talk about filter, just like Tracy gave us a good example about cooking pot. In some dishes, you cannot put ginger in it. In some dishes, you cannot put lemongrass in it. If you cook French soup, you will not put noodle in it. I don't think so. Because when I was learning French cooking, we don't put noodle into the French soup. This asparagus soup doesn't go with noodle. So that is another filter about friendship. And how about choose a partner that you can produce angels? Or if the children come out not angels, don't worry, because that is the job that we have to help them to become angels. So I give a a very short passage about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Yung. Thank you. So I'm conscious of time is almost 9. So may I ask how long normally we go? Is it around this time or can we continuing a bit longer?
It's 7 to
About
9.
this time.
7 to 9. So almost, yeah, but we are by the end of it. Yeah. Yeah. Can I share with you something about, just the last question, how can our friendship become sources of benefit for our community? I think, what you've all shared is beautiful, beautiful experiences that you've shared, and it's wonderful. And I wanted to share as well that there are lots of lonely people in our communities. That is hard to imagine, because especially if we have family and kids and lots of friends, we can't guess the degree of loneliness. My experience of volunteering in Lifeline many years ago, and for a few years I was doing that voluntary work, is that some people call, especially at night time, and they want to just hear a voice, another human voice, because they have been so lonely by themselves at home. Nobody has gone for a visit, and they haven't been out for any reason, maybe their health or other issues. So there are lots of lonely people in our communities. And I think, overall, if we could befriend other people, and like what Tracy said, just that sense of curiosity, have that sense of curiosity and learn about them, and try to enrich their life. And as a result, I think, our life will be blessed and enriched too. When we are of service to other people, we get lots of blessing as well. So it's amazing. It's amazing always. I think sometimes maybe it looks like we are just giving, but in reality, we are receiving a lot as well. So these experiences that you shared has been wonderful, and thank you for the opportunity. I'm not sure if anybody else would like to say anything. Otherwise, we might just close. And maybe, Colin, if there is time for the last video that you mentioned in the beginning, if there is time. Otherwise, maybe we could do it later. I don't know. I'll leave it to you.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you,
Perhaps
Maria.
the video we could have next week. It looks like an interesting one.
Okay, sure.
Thank you, everyone, for your kind thoughts and your feelings.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have
you,
a safe
Minoo.
weekend with you
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you, Minoo.
Good night.
Good
Khayr,
night.
Good night. Good night.
Shab khair.
Shab khair. Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.